This moment, mostly just the will to like kind of make it in a sense. I've been more determined to finish school and kind of aim higher in like what I want. Like, why stop at kind of like a bachelorette or a bachelor degree when you can get a master's or PhD kind of thing? And like, I'm still looking into it, but I don't know. That seems to be my motivation at the moment. So it's more or less getting my stuff together after being more or less asleep for a few months too long. Support Black Lives Matter, support Black Trans Lives Matters, sign petitions, get involved. Uh, you know, people are saying that they're tired of politics, but let's be real, like my identity has always been political and it's not something I could take off. You can rest when I'm like when it's time to sleep kind of thing, you know? Because I can't sleep, you know?
Good morning, Carlos. Thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, my name is Carlos Rojo. I'm pronouns are he, him, his. I'm an undocumented immigrant from Baja Califas. I'm the oldest of seven siblings and a first generation college student at WSU. Basically, my intended major would be political science and possibly looking into a minor or double major in education. And that's a little bit about myself.
Who and where do you come
Well, I
from?
was born in the city of Tijuana, to my mother and father, who my dad was from, I think, Colimas, and then my mother was from a small pueblo in Cocori. Basically, we lived with like an indigenous tribe there called the Yaqui, and basically we're in TJ because my grandmother was living there, and we needed to get to the U.S., but it was a little too late, and I was born in TJ. Completely not born with family, so I'm kind of like here's my dad, here's my mom, then here's me, kind of like all over the place. We eventually came to the US on a tourist visa when I was like 4, but they got it a little bit sooner so they can go build a life here. So when they brought me, it was all more or less established. So there was that, and then I continued to visit Mexico and here for like until my visa expired, which was when I was like 13 or 12. So yeah, came came a long way.
How has that been for you being undocumented here in Washington? How has that changed your life?
Basically, I didn't even know I was undocumented until I think I was in 8th grade, ninth grade maybe. It didn't really hit me until it's like, wow, I can't leave the country. Not only that, I can't get a job, more to say. And, I think it's been difficult for the most part, but I made it work. It's just always been like that, like, gracias a Diosito me cuida, kind of thing. And yeah, it's been difficult, but with the whole pandemic doesn't make it easier because it's like I want a job, can't get a job because of my status expired. Luckily, I can renew it, but it's always been like questioning if like what is it? I don't know how to word it exactly, but like it feels like I don't belong here. They don't want me here. Why am I here? Kind of thing, you know? But it's like my life is here.
How did you hear about La Cima?
La Cima, I didn't hear about La Cima until I got to sophomore year in high school. Originally, I went to CISPIS for another leadership camp, and there was nothing bad about that leadership camp. It just didn't really bring my attention. It wasn't until I went to La Cima where people are more like relatable, and I was able to meet, people that are like hella friendly and were basically just uh, very friendly people, very open about things too. So I went to the SEMA sophomore year and been going there ever since. Yeah.
Can you tell me what La Cima means to you?
It means a lot. Basically, it's been the only organization that I truly like believe in and like has good intentions and like has made a very huge difference or has made a huge impact on students, not only students but also like counselors and stuff like that. So it's really been an amazing experience from my perspective. But
What would you say is something that you took away with or like apply in your life right now?
something I took away with always going back from like always taking a leadership role to like looking back and seeing what your community needs or what your group needs. So
What is your favorite memory about La Cima?
my favorite memory, thing I love about La Cima is that it's different every year, and every year I have several different favorite memories. But I guess the one that stood out to me the most was like I was sleeping in my dorm as a JC, and all of a sudden the alarm goes off, the fire alarm goes off, and I'm like just as confused as the delegates. So it was an interesting experience, but we made it out. I was asleep or resting my eyes, so to speak. Sudden, I just hear the fire alarm go off, and then I wake up. I look around, everyone's running and scrambling. I felt so bad. This one delegate was having sleep paralysis, so I felt really bad. It was different. You didn't expect it.
Why do you say that every time that you go back to La Cima, it's a different memory? What changes?
Oh, it's like how one of my SCs and JCs said he used to tell me it's like there will never be another, and then he would say the date. And it was basically like, okay, so there will never be another July something 2017, 18, 19, you know? So it's always like a different experience. There's always different people. The likelihood of you having the same group or being around the same people is very unlikely.
In this moment, what keeps you going?
In this moment, mostly just the will to like kind of make it in a sense. I've been more determined to finish school and kind of aim higher in like what I want. Like why stop at kind of like a bachelorette or a bachelor degree when you can get a master's or PhD kind of thing. And like I'm still looking into it, but I don't know. That seems to be my motivation at the moment. So it's more or less getting my stuff together after being more or less asleep for a few months too long.
What would you say are actions that you're currently taking, either to help your community, to help yourself grow? Like what is something that you're doing?
I've been involved in well, mostly I've been more hands-on when it comes to community work. I
Mhm.
don't like kind of writing grants, even though there's importance to it, or vote. I can't vote, so I can't do that. But mostly I've been kind of like direct. I've been, participating in peaceful demonstrations, lobbying. Um, I do a lot of things more or less that I feel are beneficial to my community. And, currently I'm working with a couple of other friends who one of them did go to La Cima and is currently in SC. And basically we're working on a book drive. Also maybe starting something like in a small brown beret group for students, kind of things like that. I'm more of like trying to do to better my community, kind of like providing those spaces or giving them those resources. So yeah.
At the end of the interviews, we do like this like really quick rapid fire questions. The first question is, what is a book or a podcast you recommend to everyone?
A book I recommend for everyone to read for sure would be The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. I think it's a really amazing self-help book, and it doesn't explain things through like traditional way of kind of like education. It actually follows more or less La Cima's kind of like overall not theme, but I want to say like idea of going with storytelling or sharing stories. It uses stories to share kind of like a rule or kind of law to help you better yourself. So I think it'd be a really interesting book for people to read.
What is a piece of advice you would say to your younger self or wish you heard when you were younger?
Don't be afraid to ask questions. Some people, a lot of people really don't have the answer to a lot of things. So it's not bad to ask questions.
What is a call to action you have for our listeners?
Support Black Lives Matter, support Black Trans Lives Matters, sign petitions, get involved. Uh, you know, people are saying that they're tired of politics, but let's be real, like my identity has always been political and it's not something I could take off. You can rest when I'm like when it's time to sleep kind of thing. Because I can't sleep. So yeah.
That's so powerful. That's so true. What or who are you most grateful for in this moment?
In this moment, I'm grateful to all my friends, family who've been supporting me, who've been edging me to keep going, and who are more or less helping me through these difficult times. So basically, what I have to share is, La Cima is a very interesting place. I want to say one of the very few places where you're free to be yourself and have I want to say at least 98% of the camp support you. You can come out like anytime during a Cima and people will support you for the most part. You know, you could get hurt and people will be there to support you. Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand. I kind of like, it's crazy to me still that we have this huge support network every summer. And, you know, it only sucks that more people can't be involved. So I say take, you know, don't be afraid to be who you are during, you know, ever or like even just during your time at Cima because people will support you no matter what.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'll see you hopefully next year at La Cima.
Thank you. I hope to see you soon too.